What is up, Broncos fans? Back again to do another video. It is NFL Draft Day. The 2021 NFL Draft is upon us, and I wanted to make a video just kind of giving my final thoughts going into the draft on what the Broncos might do, what I want them to do, and what I would do if I was, in George Payton's shoes, and also just kind of talk about the trade that the Broncos made yesterday that I think has very significant impact on what they might do in terms of their draft plans, and I think just the draft as a whole, it's going to have a ripple effect, especially throughout the top 10. So just wanted to make one last video here going into the draft. I hope everyone's excited for the draft tonight. Obviously, this is a very important one and a very big one for the Broncos. And man, if we fuck this one up, I'm not really sure where my fandom's going to be for this franchise. And I initially made a video about the trade that we made yesterday. If you haven't heard by now, the Broncos made a trade for quarterback Teddy Bridgewater with the Carolina Panthers. We sent a 6th-round pick to them. I believe it's the 191st pick in this year's draft for Teddy Bridgewater. So I think pretty great value for the Broncos here in this trade. But I initially made a video about that trade, and I was definitely, I think, emotional in kind of my take and giving my opinion, and I just deleted that and kind of wanted to redo this and I guess take a bigger picture approach with my take on this Teddy Bridgewater trade. And as I've kind of been able to sit on it and not be so emotional, and a lot of news has come out and reports have come out about the trade and where the Broncos thinking may be now going into the draft, and how even though they acquired Teddy Bridgewater, it doesn't take them out of the first round quarterback market. I've been able to kind of, I think, calm down a little bit because of those reports and things like that. And again, just wanted to kind of just redo this video. Once again, just wanted to kind of give my final thoughts going into the 2021 NFL draft as a Broncos fan. But starting with this trade for Teddy Bridgewater, again, I think it's a really low risk move for the Broncos. Again, low value in terms of what you had to give up for Teddy Bridgewater, giving up for a starting caliber quarterback, 28 years old, to only have to part ways with a 6th-round pick, the 191st pick again in this year's draft. Again, I think it's a low risk, low price move by George Payton, and it makes all the sense in the world that George Payton would want to bring in Teddy Bridgewater. He had said that the plan all along was to bring in competition for Drew Lock this offseason at the quarterback position, and Teddy Bridgewater seems to kind of serve that purpose as a veteran presence now in the quarterback room. And again, he has that connection to George Payton when he was drafted by the Vikings, I think, with the 32nd pick in the 2014 NFL draft. So you have the connection there with Payton, given that Bridgewater was selected during Payton's time in Minnesota. So that makes sense there. There's some familiarity there, a hard word for me to say. And, again, you're bringing in a veteran presence. So I understand all the positives there with the move. And again, I do think Teddy Bridgewater is a guy that probably is a upgrade over Drew Lock. I'm not sure he's like a substantial upgrade over Drew Lock, but I think definitely an upgrade over Lock. And at the very least, he's going to be able to come in and compete for that starting job. And if you're a Drew Lock fan, you hope that he's able to push him to new heights. And if you're like me and you're a Drew Lock doubter, here's a guy I think that can at least come in and be yet another Band-Aid replacement at the quarterback position, and probably be more effective than Drew Lock, given the weapons that Bridgewater is going to have at his disposal here in Denver to utilize. Because last year in Carolina, man, he still, I think, was fairly effective with kind of a limited supporting cast. McCaffrey was out for pretty much the whole year. He had to deal with injuries, and I thought was pretty solid. But you look at Bridgewater, 28 years old, Pro Bowler in 2015, was the NFL Rookie of the Year in 2014. Obviously had that horrible left knee injury in, I think, August of 2016, tore his ACL, dislocated his knee, I believe, as well, did some other structural damage to that knee. It was a passing drill on a drop back, just suffered a really unfortunate injury. And, since then has come back, obviously was drafted by Minnesota and, had a decent run there before the injury, led them to a division title, I believe. They were 11-5. Made the playoffs, I believe, as well that year that he made the Pro Bowl in 2015. But he's also played for the Jets, played for New Orleans, and of course last season played for the Panthers. And you look at the last 2 seasons for Teddy in New Orleans and Carolina, he had 20 starts in his last 2 seasons with those 2 franchises. He went 9-11 in those 20 games as a starter. In the past 2 seasons, he's thrown 5,117 yards, 24 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, completed 68.75% of his passes. Also has 81 carries, 310 yards, 5 rushing touchdowns, but also has 7 fumbles, 6 of which came last season with the Panthers, and has 22 rushing first downs. So has really put up some respectable numbers the past 2 years as a starter again for New Orleans, coming in when Drew Brees got hurt, went 5-0 I think as a starter, and then last season with Carolina was the starter for them for most of the season, and again, it wasn't a great year for them, but nonetheless, again, 9-11 the last 20 games he started the past 2 seasons, 24 touchdowns, 13 picks, 69% completion percentage. I mean, this is a guy who, again, I think is no question more effective than Drew Lock, and I think is an upgrade over Drew Lock, but I really question this move if the plan tonight is not drafting a quarterback. If you brought in Teddy Bridgewater to be some another stopgap at the quarterback position, another band-aid fix for your franchise quarterback problem with a mediocre veteran quarterback, I don't really like this trade. If we end up trading back tonight with that ninth pick, and we take some old lineman or defensive player, and again, the plan is to roll into the season, and your plan to solve the quarterback problem is Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock. To me, again, that's an issue, and this trade to me just kind of reeks of John Elway in that regard. And I'd really be disappointed in George Paton in that regard, because I have no problem bringing in Teddy Bridgewater to create some competition, and be a veteran mentor, so to say, maybe to Drew Lock or a quarterback you are drafting tonight. But other than that, I don't get really what Teddy Bridgewater provides you in terms of being anything other than a band-aid fix yet again at the quarterback position. Again, I think he's an upgrade over Drew Lock, but I think this trade and how good it is, regardless of what Broncos insiders are going to tell you, and regardless of what Broncos fans are going to tell you, this trade and how good it is really contingent to me on us drafting a quarterback tonight. And if we draft a quarterback tonight, I will absolutely love this trade, because again, you gave up absolutely nothing to get a starting caliber veteran quarterback who, again, is only 28 years old and is put up some decent numbers the last 2 years as a starting quarterback. And if you can bring him in to be a stopgap for someone that you draft tonight, again, with that ninth overall selection, or maybe you trade up to pick number 7 Detroit. Maybe you're trading up to number 4. There's been some rumblings that Atlanta might be interested in Drew Lock. So, if the plan is to, do that and still take a quarterback, and you bring in Teddy Bridgewater, as in combination with that, again, I'll love this move, because I do think there's a phenomenal chance that the Broncos are going to be in position to draft 2 of these quarterbacks in this class. And I've made it no secret that I think this is a transcendent quarterback class in this year's 2021 draft. And I think to be in a prime position to have a chance to take a potential franchise quarterback, and to pass on that for Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock, again, it would reek of a John Elway move. And it would be just like every other move John Elway has made with, Trevor Siemian and Paxton Lynch, and what we did last year with Jeff Driscoll, and Brock Osweiler. I mean, the list goes on and on, of these, again, just like band-aid fixes for your kind of permanent franchise quarterback problem that you've had now for several years since Peyton Manning's retired, and you keep fixing it with these veteran quarterbacks again that are just like these band-aids over a insane gash that just keeps bleeding profusely. So I just really hope that this move again is contingent on you bringing in Bridgewater to be a starter maybe for a year, and be a mentor to a guy that you're drafting this year who is really the plan to solve your franchise quarterback problem. And again, whether it's Justin Fields, whether it's Trey Lance or Mac Jones, I'm fine with all 3 of them. I think they're all again have a chance to be very special. I've made it no secret Trey Lance is my guy in this draft, and people are starting to jump on that bandwagon. It seems like there's a chance he might even go 3 to San Francisco, but he's a guy I think is a combination of Randall Cunningham and Steve McNair. Then you got Mac Jones, who to me is like Kurt Warner, and then Justin Fields is a more athletic Dak Prescott. So I think if you can get any one of those 3 guys, they're huge upgrades over Drew Lock. I've made that no secret, and I think they can come in and compete with Bridgewater for that starting position. And if not, maybe sit for a year, learn from him, and I think it'd be a great mentor to all those guys, especially a guy like Trey Lance. And if Trey Lance is a guy that falls to you at number 9, or even number 7, and you pass on him, man, or Fields is there and you pass on him, again, it's just gonna be frustrating. And now with Carolina trading Bridgewater, them at number 8, you got to watch out for them, maybe taking a quarterback as well. So, the Broncos are, in a very intriguing position now, and I get that this trade, opens up the options and keeps them in that discussion for the first round quarterback. And if that's the plan, again, I love it. And especially if the plan includes maybe sending Drew Lock to another team as well in a trade tonight, I love it even more. But if the plan in trading for Teddy Bridgewater is to again have him and Drew Lock compete for your starting quarterback, and again do this band-aid veteran quarterback solution. And I've seen some rumors have us staying at number 9 and drafting Rashawn Slater, who's an offensive tackle from Northwestern, who's a really good player, and I think is going to be a very good player for a long time and would upgrade any offensive line he's going to join. But to take him over these quarterbacks in this class, and when you have Bridgewater and Drew Lock, again, I really, it would downgrade this trade to me in a lot of ways, and would be just a move that reeks of a lack of self-awareness, reeks of John Elway all over again. And it would really kind of deflate my fandom and just kind of my belief in where this franchise is going. And again, it would show a continued lack of self-awareness about where you're at as a franchise. I hate to break it to people, but Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock are not going to compete with Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes for the next decade, and they're definitely not scaring those two guys or those two franchises. So you better have a better plan in place than those two guys. Again, I like Teddy Bridgewater. I like the player. I like him as a person. I think he's a better leader than Drew Lock. I think he's an upgrade over Drew Lock. But if your solution was to take him and then take some offensive lineman or defensive player, and that's your solution to competing and fixing the Broncos, I would say George Paton is just as dumb as John Elway and lacks, the same type of awareness that John Elway does. So we'll see what happens tonight. But again, I'll say it one last time. If the plan is to, bring in Teddy Bridgewater to, add a veteran to your quarterback room, have him, push Drew Lock or compete for the starting job. And on top of that, you're bringing him to be a mentor for a quarterback you're drafting tonight, whether that be Trey Lance, Mac Jones, or Justin Fields. I'm totally fine with all three of them, but obviously I would prefer Trey Lance. I've made it no secret. He's my guy. I love Justin Fields, though, too. I think he's the second best quarterback in this draft behind Trevor Lawrence. If that's the plan, I love this trade. If that's not the plan, and this is your answer for the quarterback position, I think everyone, again, I don't care, and I don't mean to call out guys specifically, but whether it's Benjamin Albright, whether it's Mike Kliss, whether it's Zach Stevens, whether it's these, Andrew Mace, the DNVR guys, I don't care what they're telling you. If we draft JOK tonight or we draft Rashawn Slater and they're going, it's a great pick, George Payton's being really smart, Bridgewater. No, that's bullshit. If we do that, this trade sucks, and the Broncos are kind of remaining in this I guess merry-go-round and Groundhog Day revolving door of band-aid mediocre veteran quarterbacks to solve your quarterback problem. So we'll have to see what happens tonight. I really appreciate you guys watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. What do you guys think of this trade for Teddy Bridgewater? Again, I think it's a low-risk, low-price move. You gave up nothing to get a veteran starting caliber quarterback. I have no problem with that, but I have a big problem with it if this is your answer to the quarterback position. I have a really big problem with that, and I still pray to God we draft a quarterback tonight in the first round of the 2021 NFL Draft. So leave me your guys' thoughts on this trade. Leave me your guys' thoughts on what you think the Broncos are going to do tonight. And I'll see you guys later. Peace.